Hello and welcome to the live season finale of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips Athletics. I'm your host, Megan Williams.
And I'm Zach Leininger.
And in today's finale, we will be completing our coverage of all the spring sports and talking about our favorite Akron Athletics 2023-2024 memories. So don't go anywhere, because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. To start off today's episode, we're going to take a look at the softball team, so let's take it over to Matt and Wesley, who cover two of their recent games.
What is good, everyone? Matt here, and for this episode, I'll be talking about Game 1 of the Women's Softball Series against the Miami Redhawks, which took place in the Lee R. Jackson Field on April 13th. So without further ado, let's take a look, shall we? The game was off to a bad start when Carly Spade of the Redhawks hit a clean home run with the run battered in, as well as Kei Kobayashi. Speaking of Kobayashi, she flew out to the inner field on the top of third with a sacrifice fly and a run battered in. I hate to say it, but the Zips were getting demolished out there, specifically during the top of the fourth. Allie Cummins singled to second base with 2 runs battered in, as well as home runs by Sammy Bewick and Chloe Parks. However, the Zips would get themselves up back on the board when freshman Lily Sullivan doubled to left field with a run battered in. On the top of the fifth, Reagan Bartholomew scored a home run with 2 runs battered in. It is sad to say that the series did not start off as we hoped when the final box score ended in 9-1. However, I do admire their sportsmanship, and hopefully this loss won't define the team's next 2 games in the series. This is Matt with your ZTV Sports Report, and as always, go Zips.
What's up, everybody? This is Wes with your final sports update for the season. Unfortunately, there were no basketball games to cover this time, so instead we're going to talk about Akron's softball game with Purdue at Fort Wayne. Looking at the score, it seems that Akron didn't have a really hard time beating them with a score of 7-1. The top scorers were Brooke Civic, Megan Lee, and Autumn Bailey, who each scored 2 runs. Another notable player was Katie Cantrell, who had 3 hits. She also had 2 runs batted in, which is higher than all of the other players on the team. The top scorer at Purdue was Grace Hollapeter with 1 run. What a great season of ZTV Sports this has been. Our basketball team has accomplished so much, and it looks like our softball team is crushing it as well. That's all I have for your sports updates this season. This is Wes, and go Zips!
Thank you, Matt and Wes. So, Zach, I think all of us knew this Miami series was going to be rough. They're first in the conference, and they're definitely going to be the first seed going into this MAC tournament. Their team is just absolutely stacked. They're good at everything, offensive and defensively. Their hitters are amazing. But we held our own. We really did. Next up in the season, we had that Purdue-Fort Wayne game, which we did really good in. We won 7-1, which is nice. I think our team just needed that victory for sure after getting absolutely destroyed by Miami. They came into that game just with a lot of motivation to win again, and I think that's why they won so big. So what did you see in this Ohio's doubleheader?
Yeah, I mean, coming into this Ohio series, the softball team came off a 2-1 series win against Central. In that series, they jumped from, I think, what was like the 7th seed. They jumped to like the 5th seed. So they made a huge jump as far as the conference standings go and made a big push towards the MAC tournament. Unfortunately, going into this Ohio series, we were expecting that momentum to carry over and just for them to continue to build on it as they hopefully would move up in the standings. Yeah. Unfortunately, Ohio was having none of that.
Yeah.
They ended up with a complete series sweep of the team. Which knocked them from being in the tournament to now out of it, on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Fortunately for them, though, they're 10-13 in MAC play. The next team above them in 6th at the 6th spot is Ball State at 10-12.
Okay.
So with a solid series this weekend against Kent State, they can really put themselves back into contention. So the hope is not lost for this team. They're still very much in it. So they just got to finish the job.
Yeah, I mean, our team is absolutely amazing, especially when it comes to pitchers. Macy Walters is only a freshman, and she has 71 strikeouts already on the season. Good for her. She's an absolute amazing player for us. Same with Haley Troyal. She's in her second season with us. Last season, she had 125 strikeouts, and this season she has 45, so good for her. Love to see it. The team as a whole has 26 home runs this season, so I don't think we should be too worried about them. They should definitely be able to beat Kent State at least 2 or 3 times in this series. And with that, we're going to take it into lacrosse. So let's send it over to Katie, who covered the recent game against Detroit Mercy.
What's up, everyone? It's Katie Baumer here with the ZTV Sports Report. Today, I will be talking everything Zips women's lacrosse in a thrilling matchup between Detroit Mercy and Akron. The Zips managed to fend off a late charge from Detroit Mercy, securing a narrow 11-10 win in the Mid-American Conference action. The game held at InfoCision Stadium showcased a fierce battle between the two teams, with momentum swinging back and forth until the final whistle blew. Both teams have a history of close contests with many games decided by 4 goals or less, showcasing the competitive nature of their rivalry. Taking a look at the offensive power from Akron, junior Jalen Klingscales and sophomore Kellen Fletcher led Akron's offensive charge, each netting 3 goals, while senior Noelle Boyd, freshman Sienna Hinchcliffe, and senior Jacqueline Glassy also made a significant contribution, adding 2 goals each to the scoreboard. Hinchcliffe and junior Grayson Schwab provided crucial support with 2 assists each, while several other players chipped in with assists of their own. On the defensive end, senior Alexi Hardy and sophomore Katie Baumer led the pack, netting a pair of caused turnovers each. Goalkeeper Kylan Rude stood tall with 11 saves, anchoring the Zips defense. Despite the Zips' early lead in the first half, Detroit Mercy staged a valiant comeback attempt, fueled by senior Ella Brandt, who notched 4 goals and 2 assists, and senior Kat Kapocha, who contributed 3 goals and an assist. The Titans fought hard until the very end, narrowing the score 11-10 in the closing minutes. However, Akron's dominant performance on the draw and the offense was overpowering, and Detroit could not capitalize on it. This has been Katie with the ZTV Sports Report. Go Zips!
Thank you, Katie. So, Zach, this lacrosse team is in such a better position than last season. As we've been saying all season, this team has a new coach, and it's really showing. They really, I think, like the new coach a lot more. She's really getting through to them because their record right now is 6-8. And last season, as we've said numerous times, they only had 2 wins. So, hey, 6 is always better than 2. So, in this Detroit Mercy game, once again, we did amazing. We beat this team 11-10, which is always nice to see. Very competitive. What have you seen in this game and just in them throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, just overall in the season, we've seen just a drastic change from this team now that we have to what the team was before. Yeah. As you mentioned, and we mentioned countless times this season, 2 wins last season was just not cutting it. It was very pitiful performances, to say the least. So for the team to go from 2 jump up to 6 wins this season, honestly was completely unexpected. I knew bringing in a new coach and having a lot of the heavy hitters being healthy this year, I knew it was going to help them. Yeah. I didn't expect this big of a jump. Yeah. Just from the leadership on this team, just of Jalen Klingscales, Noelle Boyd, Jacqueline Glassy, just so many notable players on this team. Yeah. And they really bring it all together well. They have really solid goalies behind the net, and they just have all those intangibles you're looking for in a lacrosse team.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got the scoring. They've been ultra aggressive this year, which is something I'd love to see. They have a this never say die attitude. They're always in every game, no matter the score. Mm-hmm. Last season, this team would not have done that. They would have backed out. Once they went down a few, they were out. They were like, we can't come back and win this. But this team is committed to win every game. It's exciting to see, and all around, they just made quite the jump.
For sure. I mean, this team is just, as you were saying, ultra competitive this season, which is very much shown in their last game against Youngstown State Penguins. They really nailed that. I'm not gonna lie. We won 17-7, so I don't know if what the Pinkins were doing. I'm not gonna lie. They were kind of just slipping and sliding all over the place. But we had an amazing game that game, and it was senior day, so it was always amazing to win your senior day. I think that really just motivated them even more. I'm really expecting good things from them the next few seasons. So with that, we're going to go into our first commercial break, but after that, we're going to talk baseball, so stay tuned.
You're watching ZTV.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
Welcome back. It is time to talk baseball in their recent matchups versus Western Michigan and OSU. So Zach, coming into this 3-game series against Western Michigan, we had just swept Eastern Michigan at their home court, which is always fun to do for sure. Now, in this first game versus Western Michigan, we lost 4-10, so kind of looking like our old selves, not gonna lie. But we figured it back out and were able to beat them 8-3 in the second game and 12-10 in the third game. So clearly we figured some stuff out, to say the least. Our hitting this series was amazing. Jack Poyce got 2 home runs in that last game. Good for him. Charlie Shebler, the freshman, got 1 home run in that series, and Sam Seeker also got 1 home run. Go Sam, proud of you. So just tell me what you've seen in the team in this OSU game and just throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, just starting with the OSU game, as is the case for any time we play OSU, it's never a game that I expect to win. OSU just across the board, they're just a different level of Division I.
Yeah.
Akron being the mid-major they are, Ohio State being one of the Power 5 teams that they are. It's never there's clearly a giant power dynamic between the two.
Yeah.
And it's evident in this game. It's evident in this game, in a game they lost 18-13.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'm really hanging my hat on, though, is the 13 runs they scored. I think that was absolutely insane. I don't know the last time I've seen them score 13 runs in a game, let alone have 16 hits. That was absolutely insane. It's a great performance, and I feel like a game they win. This same performance they win in pretty much any other game they're in.
Yes.
Just unfortunately, it didn't happen didn't happen this day. Charlie Shebler, though, as you mentioned, only being a freshman, his continued his streak of home runs, though. Got another one in this past game, setting them up nicely. As far as the team goes as a whole this season, it's been an interesting rebuild, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's the record, the way they played, is really as I've expected it to be. Not very good. They're 7, 8, 9 wins, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And it's just having a new first-year head coach again after an interim head coach the previous year.
Yeah.
Then losing, they lost guys like Firestone, Tortorella, and really had to rely on their other transfers and recruits coming in. So half of the team got replaced, new coaching staff. Just trying to give the team time to readjust. They've really shown flashes of being a good baseball team. They've also shown flashes of being absolutely terrible. And so it's like, it's finding that middle ground and just progressing to being better is something that they're going to hope to do. My goal, or not my goal, but I guess my hope for the team is that we can retain what we've got now.
Yeah.
Because the only way this team is really going to get better is if they can build on what they have now. If they have to keep changing it up, they're not going to be able to find consistent success.
Yeah.
So really that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, our hitters are just really starting to find their footing finally in the season. Took them a little longer than we would have liked, not gonna lie to you,
Right.
but they're finally figuring it out. So hopefully that can be carried over to next season, especially if they put in a lot of work in the off season, which we know they do. That's
Right.
what Akron Zips Sports is. So I think I'm just really excited to see what they do near the end of the season. Obviously, they're not making it to the MEC tournament.
Not
they're
this
just a little too far away, and by far, I mean they're at the bottom of the conference, so not really much we can do there. But I think they're just gonna have a better end of the season than they thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing, really there's nothing to lose in this.
Yeah.
So the team can afford to go all out, whether they win, lose. Like I said, it doesn't matter. So just looking to see the team play their hearts out this last few games, end the season well, build some momentum, some chemistry, and just take that into the next season.
Yeah, their next series is this coming weekend against Central Michigan, and then we have one more series against none other than the Kent State Golden Flashes. So let's hope our team can pull out some wins in these last couple of games. It is now time for our second commercial break, but after that, we are talking about our favorite memories from the 2023-2024 athletic seasons. So stay tuned.
You're watching ZTV.
What is it, Julia? Why are you so excited, honey? Oh, hey, do you want to use your talker? With Julia's autism, using a talker can help her find the words she wants to say.
My dog.
You want to do something with Rose, Julia?
Play ball.
Oh, do you want to play catch with Rose? Oh, I think Rose is excited to play catch too. Oh, Julia, you show us so many different ways to talk together. Oh, and play. Good catch, Rose. Okay, give Julia the ball. There you go. Okay, throw the ball, Julia. Oh,
For Julia's family, early screening for autism made a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
okay, Julia, there you go. Oh, another good throw. That's the way.
Yeah, Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia. Are you ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Welcome back. Now it is time for Zach and I to talk about our favorite memories from the 2023-2024 Akron Athletics. So let's take it over to Zach, who edited together these highlights. Thank you, Zach. So when we talk about our favorite memories, we have to start with this men's soccer team. They started in a brand new conference this season, being in the Big East, which is always a difficult conference. That's where Creighton is. That's where a bunch of other very talented teams are. Our record was honestly pretty good for being in a new conference. 9 wins, 2 losses, and 7 ties. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, I did not like having that many ties, but hey, it's better than a loss.
Right.
So, what did you see in our team this season?
Yeah, just seeing how they transitioned from being in the MAC to being in the Big East, I was very impressed with their performances. As you mentioned, the 7 ties, we would have liked to have seen a lot of those turn into wins, so we could have bumped up further in the conference, giving us some more breathing room when we got into tournament play. Obviously, again, we'll take those ties. So many of those games where we had like Notre Dame 0-0 tie, a lot of 1-1 ties, really close games, which was to be expected in a more competitive conference. That being said, there were so many great moments from this season. I remember, Mitch Butler, Seth Wilson played really well behind the net. Mitch had 33 saves on the season. Just from there, just solid leadership all around from the team. With Jason Shukaluk, Will Jackson, Joseph Paulus, Johnny Fitzgerald. There's so many big name players who played really well. Obviously, as I mentioned, Jason Shukaluk was by far and away the star of this team. He had 83 shots, 41 of them on goal, and then 14 goals overall. Probably in recent memory, like the best offensive player I've seen. It seemed like whenever his foot touched the ball, it always seemed to find the back of the net. He was always one step ahead of the defense. And then from there, I was really happy to see Shukaluk take his talents into the MLS. I think that was a really good sign for this program. It just goes to show just how good they are. That they're some of the best soccer around, some of the best soccer in the country. That translated obviously well to other leagues. Bringing it back into the Zips team, of course, heading into next season. There's kind of some shakeup with the seniors that went away. Still a lot of returning players. Guayan Chong's back. Trying to remember some of the others that are there. But it's still going to be a solid season, I would have to say. Still got Embick running the team, and they always recruit well, so
for sure.
That's not going to be a concern. But that's really what I would say for the soccer team this season.
Yeah. So I think our team's going to do very good next season. After the soccer team, our volleyball team, this is our second year with head coach Tyson Norton.
Right.
The first season was not good at all, to say the least. We only had 3 MAC wins and only 6 wins in all, so that's kind of sad. But this season we did a lot better. We had 13 wins overall, and 8 of them coming in MAC play. So clearly we're starting to figure out how to win in MAC play a lot more with Tyson as our coach, which is great. I'm really excited to see what they do next season. What are your thoughts on the volleyball team from this past season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you really said a lot of what I had to say. Just the big jump they had from going 6-23 to 13-16, 3-15 in the conference to 8-10. The jump was not, I shouldn't say unexpected, but it did kind of catch me off guard. I kind of feared they'd make a jump, being able to retain a lot of the team they had, but a lot of it is. A lot of it I would credit to Tyson Norton and the way he recruited, with Aliska Vidiskova coming in, Vanessa Del Real, just some solid freshman play around that's going to continue this team going forward. Then we had starters like Faith Johnson, who were really holding it down for the team. Faith obviously is moving on, so it'll be a big loss for the team. But the groundwork has been laid for this team. As we talked before, this team was just inches away from the MAC tournament. So to me, that's the next step for this team. It seems like we're getting that upward trajectory that we're looking for. They're continuing to build on the wins, continuing to retain the team. And I would expect, from what I've seen, and from how I've seen them adjust, I would expect a MAC tournament appearance next season, and making the way towards competing for the MAC championship. I don't want to go as far as the MAC championship, because Western Michigan's going to be in there again. They were absolutely insane, but the sky's the limit for this team, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
For sure. I'm very excited because, I love volleyball. I'm very excited to see them again this coming up fall. under Tyson Norton. We still have a lot of very good players returning, and we'll obviously have some from recruitment. So I think they're going to definitely be a very good team still. And Zach, you know what it's time for. It's time to talk about the men's basketball team, once again, led by the one and only Enrique Freeman. Our men's basketball team did amazing this season. Capped off by winning the MAC championship from beating Kent State. And as Max Arce always says, there's nothing better or just more right than when Akron beats Kent State. Absolutely. And that is just the most honest statement I've ever heard, actually. Like, there's no other way to state it. So our men's team had an amazing season. We had so many talented pieces on this team. Now, a lot of them did graduate, but I think they'll figure out next season. What was your favorite part of this men's basketball season? I think it's really hard to say anything less than the MAC championship. It just felt like the season was building from there the entire year. Yeah, for sure. Going, I believe they were like 15-1, 14-1 in the jar the entire year. Yeah. Just an amazing home performance. Yeah. Struggled a little bit on the road, struggled a little bit at the end of the season. But it still felt like, despite everything that happened, it felt like they were far and away the number one team. Yeah. Obviously led by Enrique Freeman, who, he tied the single season record for double doubles. Yeah. Just somewhat unprecedented play from him. He's an absolute freak of nature and really came into his own these last couple years. But like I said, it's really hard to not say the MAC championship. As this team fought hard. And even when it seemed like they were down and out, they rallied, they adjusted, got together. They brought home the win. Enrique Freeman got to do it in front of his family, in front of his home crowd, and just being there in that environment was absolutely electric. And it's really a moment that I'll never forget. For sure, I don't think the team's going to forget that either. And I think a lot of this can be attributed to 7-year head coach John Gross. He is just doing amazing for the Zips squad. And I don't expect anything less from next season. Yes, will it be different? Yeah. But I think we'll still have a pretty good chance of doing well. So with that, that'll be the end of today's episode. As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at ZTV Sports and on YouTube at ZTV Sports Report. As always, I'm Megan Williams.
And I'm Zach Leininger.
Thanks for watching, and go Zips!
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV. Make media, make a difference.